It's free, just a simple boy.
Today's Wednesday. And so I'm in for Mountain Fakins. But today, welcome to the program, Traffic Talk. It's on the Atlanta Broadcasting Corporation. The program is designed to enlighten the minds of you drivers, those of you driving, flying the streets of Monrovia. We're also going to look at lots of things contributing to this program. It's going to help you all drivers, yeah.
It's free, just a simple boy.
We have our quotation. They are driving quotation. Then we have safety tips for you drivers. 80 minutes past 6 o'clock. My name is McGufford Clark Jr. I'm in for Mountain Fakins on the program Traffic Talk right here on the Atlanta Broadcasting Corporation 105.1, broadcasting to you from Monrovia. So let's go to our driving quotation for today. Your purpose when driving is not to arrive at your destination safely or quickly. Your purpose when driving is to impress your personality on the road. Driving at night is about communicating with your lights. That is our quotation for today. And then we have several driving tips for you.
It's free, just a simple boy.
We don't have a correspondent today on the program, but how be it, we're going to talk a bit about we're going to look at the reasons, some of the reasons why we always have those congestions in the traffic. All right, what are the factors responsible for the usual traffic congestions? Okay, so let's run through our driving safety tips for today on the program. Number one states, obey all traffic rules. Number one, obey all traffic rules. All right. What are some of the traffic rules? Some of the traffic rules to include no U-turn, for example. You're a driver. You have to be cognizant of certain things in the traffic while driving. It's not just about moving the vehicle from one point to another. It's about you understanding the traffic signs within the traffic. All right, the traffic rules. So they will tell you, say no parking here. And those things are very important. You have to observe them as a professional driver. You don't want to violate, Yeah, you don't want to be a constant violator while driving, and then you encounter the police. And many of you don't have driver license and all the documents. Is when the police comes in, and sometimes, unfortunately for you, they issue you tickets, and then you start to complain. But once you're in the traffic and you obey every given rules within the traffic, I can assure you that I'm not too sure you're going to encounter the police. But most times you'll see the bus parking. Yeah, you will intentionally take your taxi there and park to put passengers down. Why, if you are there and the bus is coming to park, and that place was built especially for buses to come and park to either put passengers down or to take new passengers on board. And then you are taxi drivers, you go and intentionally park within in the bus parking, which is very wrong. You are not to do that as a professional driver. So you have to watch out for uh you have to watch out for you have to obey the traffic rules, which is very important for your drivers. All right. And then we go to the next one.
It's flames, the simple.
The next one says slow down at every crosswalks, intersections, school zone, hospital zones, and residential areas. Very important. You ask the driver driving, you know, there are certain things you ought to do right, and everything you have to do right in the traffic, and you have to watch out for pedestrians while driving. You have to watch out for pedestrians using the crosswalk. You have to watch out for school zones. You have to watch out for hospital zones, residential areas, intersections. Those are the places you have to watch out for while driving, regardless of the part of town you are driving. Yeah, you have to watch out for all those places. All right, because let's take for instance the school zone. For instance, it's obvious that you have kids. There are some kids who even walk from the house, to go to school. They don't need their parents to take them, but they feel more secure because they feel that place is a school zone, and they will understand. They need you to understand as a driver that once you're reaching around there, you have to limit the speed of a vehicle while driving, especially to those places. For example, intersections. You have to limit the speed of your vehicle while driving to those places. Intersections, school zone, hospital zones, residential areas. You know, let's take for instance residential areas. By this time of the evening hours, there are some places you go now. You see the kids, the playing around the communities. So you don't want to be speeding in those communities while driving, because if you're doing that, you are endangering the lives of others and even yourself. Because there are times you will do some things that you will not want to do, but because you are over speeding and you don't want to obey those things while driving, all right, you are in haste, and it's very wrong for you drivers. So it's very important. All right. And then the next one say, do not tailgate. Tailgating is when a driver drives too close behind another vehicle. It's called tailgating, and it's very important. Yeah, so that's it here for in line with our traffic rules. Number 3 says, do not tailgate. Tailgating is when a driver drives too closely behind another vehicle. It's called tailgating. Now we all know that in Monrovia, because of the size of the road and uh, the kind of vehicles we have nowadays, and we have other moving objects on the road, and they have this bumper to bumper driving, but the Englishman will call it tailgates. All right. So it's always good to have some distance between you and the next vehicle, so that whenever you try to apply brakes, you cannot, rush into another vehicle, because it's not possible you apply brakes within that same moment, and then the car just take, it's going to take a little time, few seconds. Like the car will have to, slow down a little bit before it stop automatically. So you have to give a little distance between you and the other vehicle, so that the other vehicle behind you, we have to do the same old thing. But you cannot be driving too close in case the person check brake and you are driving right next to the person, close to the person. You might just run into the person vehicle, which is not right. All right. So it's always good to have a little distance between you and the next vehicle, so that the auto behind you will actually do the same. So it's good to observe tailgating in the traffic, you as a driver, professional driver. And the next one says, you keep your car always in a good running condition and always counter check. Yeah. Always keep your car in a good running condition and always counter check. This part of it is very important, very much important. Now, let me overemphasize on this. Drivers, most of those vehicles that you usually drive during the course of the day from one point to another, you drive all day, and at times the car might not give up the identical day when you are driving. Sometimes it starts to create a little problem, while driving, but you may not notice it. Sometimes you go home and park, and then in the morning, you kickstart the vehicle, it starts, but you may not know exactly what is happening, because you are not patient enough to counter check to know as to what is happening to the vehicle, so that it will enable you at least to take the vehicle to the mechanic shop, so that they can know exactly, know exactly what is happening to the vehicle, so that they can give it a proper check. That's one. The next one is, most of you driver don't even check to know if you have water within the tank on a regular day, especially during the morning hours. Once you wake up in the morning and then you jump in the vehicle, the car starts, you keep the car and starts. The next thing is you feel comfortable. You feel like the car is okay, and you just have to get going at that moment. But there are lots of things you have to check. You as a driver driving, you know that thing is very possible that it gives up at any given time. It can give up any time. You have to check to know if you have water. You have to check to know if you have uh, enough gasoline. You have to check to know if the tires are in good running condition. Those things are very important. You have to check to know all of those things are good on the car. All right. So those things are very much important. Sometimes you have to check. You wake up in the morning, you check the oil level, know the level of the oil in the car. There are some simple things you don't have to go to mechanic shop. You can just do them, you as a professional driver, so that you to prevent embarrassment within the traffic. Let's take for instance, you are a driver driving a commercial vehicle, and then you have passengers on board, and then after every few seconds, the car gives up. You stop. Some passengers might not be patient enough to wait for you or to continue that thing you on. That one every 5 minutes the car break down, every 5 minutes. No, there are times other passengers might just get frustrated and get on another car. It's because you are not patient enough to check your vehicle before putting it on the road, which is very important for you drivers. It's very, very important, very much important. So you wake up in the morning, even if you take like 5 to 10, 15, 20 minutes, it won't do anything to you. You can wake up early in morning hours since you feel like you will be rushing. You can wake up early in the morning, or you have somebody who you can count on to go and check the vehicles, check the air level within the tire. You check everything to know if everything is in tight, because the reason why you want to do all of that, even if you're not driving a commercial vehicle, but you're driving your own private vehicle. But sometimes when some of these things happen to you, and then you might run into something that you don't want happening. For instance, accident. Those things can even lead you to accident. There are times you see people vehicle just catch on fire because those things are very important. You overlook them. You wake up in the morning. Once you go and start the car, and the car is okay, you feel more comfortable. You feel like everything on the car are working perfectly, and it should not be like that. You, as a professional driver, you wake up in the morning. You make sure everything on the vehicle is intact, and you are ready to go for another work day or whatever place you are going, right? Which is very much important for you drivers. So that's it. Yeah. Keep a car always in a good running condition and always counter check. Number five. Number five says always give an indicator why changing lanes. Always gave an indicator why changing lanes. And that's our last tips for today on the program. Traffic Talk. Okay, so we're trying to go across now to take your calls. But within that, while I'm here waiting for your call, I'm still going to be talking about some of the reason why we encounter a lot of traffic in Monrovia. The Bourgeois Island, Somalia Drive, Topman Boulevard. Okay, so let's talk a bit about some of the reasons why we encounter a lot of traffic congestions in Monrovia. The first thing is overtaking. Lots of you drivers are impatient. You're always in a hurry. You cannot bear it for even a second. You're always rushing. So at the end of the day, you want to overtake, and at times you overtake and you go and meet another vehicle, and the person feels like you're not supposed to be right on that lane. The person blocked you. And sometimes those things are the reason why you always have the traffic so huge around the Somalia Drive, Tottenham Boulevard, Bourgeois Island, all the places here in Monrovia. So you drivers, you have to be very mindful. You have to be patient enough. No matter how you are in a hurry. Lots of people in that queue are in more hurry than you. And of course you have to be very, very mindful. So those of you who are around the Tottenham Boulevard and other places, and you are observing some of the things happening within the traffic, I am not there, you are there. Become part of the program. Call me on 0777 105 100. Better still 0555 105 100 are the numbers to call in, and let's talk a bit about all of the things I talk about here today. The safety tips are provided. Maybe you want to contribute. Maybe you have some pieces of advice for drivers driving. You want to add up to the program. Call me on 0777. Yeah, call me on 0777 105 100, or better still, call me on 0555 105 100. You're listening to Traffic Talk right here on ABC Radio FM 105.1. And the program ends at 6:45. Okay, so another thing you as a driver needs to understand is about you allowing the passengers on board to wear the seat belt. It's always important, very much important. It helps save lives whenever there's a tragedy. All right, very important. So you as a driver, you have to be mindful, and of course, you have to advise those people you are driving. It's very important. It's also important to have a spare tire because you might be at a certain place and then the car runs out of tire. It's always good to have spare tires on board. Anytime, anything can happen at any place. So to prevent all those embarrassment, it's good to have all those things on board the taxi and on board any vehicle you're driving. It's also good to have tools. Yeah. It's always good to have some tools with you. Like for instance, it's good to have some spanners. It's good to have a jack. You know, those things are very important. You might overlook them as a driver, but it's very important. If you're driving along the highway, why if your car goes in a bad condition, but you have those things that you can, at least cater for until you reach to the nearby mechanic shop. Those things are very important. Yeah, as a driver, there's a need that you have all those things on board the vehicle while driving.
It's just a simple boy.
And those of you drivers, you have to watch out for people living with disabilities, visually impaired people. You can see them, they don't see you. So you have to be mindful while driving. Watch out for people living with disability, mentally challenged people, physically challenged people are those people you have to watch out for as a driver driving. Yeah, you have to watch out for them. You have to watch out for pedestrians within the crosswalk while driving. It's important. It's very much important for you drivers. You have to watch out for pedestrians within the traffic, most especially when you are close to a crosswalk. You see the pedestrians using the crosswalk to cross. No matter how you are in a hurry, it's always important to slow down for a while, allow them to cross, and then after you can get going. And you have to respect the Liberian National Police. You have to respect the Liberian National Police and those police assigned within the traffic. Those police from the traffic section there. You have to respect them. And how do you respect them? It's abiding by every rules within the traffic. There are times that a police officer stops you, then you get annoyed, you just want to pull up. It's very bad. At times you slow down, you listen. On every given time, you slow down and listen. Know exactly what you are asked to stop the vehicle. Lots of you drivers don't respect the lights, the traffic lights, which is very bad too as well. You don't respect the traffic lights. You have to respect the lights in the absence of the police. The traffic lights regulate the traffic. In the absence of the police, the traffic light It helps to regulate the traffic in the absence of the police. So it's very important that you observe every signs within the traffic. It's very much important that you do all of that. Okay, so that's all the time got to be together today. Let's do more of this on tomorrow. Then tomorrow, Martin Fagans will be here on the program, the Traffic Talk. My name is McGoffred Clark Jr. and have yourselves all a wonderful time. Bye-bye. I'm still here to 7 o'clock. Bye-bye for now on the program Traffic Talk.